afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here. It's always a pleasure. Where the topic is nutrition, my smile and my antenna and my eyelids just shine up because I'm going to speak about something that I absolutely love and adore to talk about. Because spreading nutrition is equivalent to spreading health, and spreading health is the biggest wealth we all can have. So, thank you for having me. And when you talk about nutrition being sustainable, I would think one of the easiest ways to kind of let that sink in is to make sure that you think of nutrition and exercise, because healthy lifestyle isn't just about what you eat, it's also about how you deplete. But both of these have to become a parallel that is something that is non-negotiable. When we were little, we were taught manners. We were said, दादाजी को ऐसे मिलते हैं और फ्रेंड को ऐसे हाय बोलते हैं, दादाजी को आप बोलते हैं and friends को तू बोलते हैं. Things that was so today when we think about it, it's something so basic, but it was taught to us as little, and it is something that we do not forget as we grow older. Food and nutrition has to be something that is just that. It's not an accessory topic or a subject that you should focus on in case you feel like getting healthier or fitter, or you want to look prettier or fit into that little black dress. It's not an optional hygiene, I would call it. Food and exercise is as important as your personal hygiene. We don't have a bath every day because we want to look good, do we? If you don't have a bath one day, you're not going to look good. But we have a bath because we want to feel good. We want to feel fresh and vivacious and ready to take on the day, whatever the day has to give us. Food and nutrition is just that simple hygiene. We don't have to do it to look a certain way. We must want to do it every day so that we are always the one who's controlling the car. Our body is our temple, and if we are not going to learn how to love and nurture it from morning, noon and night, then we are going to fall victim to doctors and neurologists and cardiologists and diabetologists and dermatologists and nutritionists, because we are making something as important as breathing optional, because now I'm too busy, I'm studying, I'm traveling, my mom's not feeling too well, or my kids need my attention. So what I'm going to eat is something that's not important. जो दिखेगा खा लूँगी, जो मिलेगा खा लूँगी, जब मिलेगा खा लूँगी, जैसे होगा वैसे खा लूँगी. That's not the attitude for nutrition. So if you want to make things sustainable, learn to call it non-negotiable. You don't eat right to look right. You eat right to feel right. You don't exercise because you want to look a certain size. You exercise because you want that rush of toxin release, your endorphins, your calming hormones. Life has anyways so many googlies to throw at us. We have to learn how to calm the body as well. And food, exercise and sleep are just those important key non-negotiables in our life that we can't afford to say, I am not focusing on my diet for now. I just think that has to become something that we have to teach our children. We have to teach everyone that it's a non-negotiable. We are going to eat, okay? I have clients who will come back to me and say, sorry Pooja, I was missing for 3 months. Life took over. I had to do this, I started a new job, I lost a loved one, I'm not saying they are excuses, guys. Life will always have far more important things than ourselves. Okay, that's how we are. We're going to put ourselves last. So life will always have more important things to do. But we can't afford to say that for example, when they come and say, oh, I took a 3 months gap, I say, it's not that you didn't eat for 3 months. You did, right? All you have to do is just eat with a little bit of thought. It's not that I'm asking you not to eat. I'm just asking you to eat with thought, because food is information. And every bite is information. In today's time and age of AI, we all know how important is information, right? Information is everything. Food for your body is that information towards good health, good hair, good skin, good energy, good stamina, good vitality, good bones, good hormones. Or every bite is taking you towards bad skin and bad acne and hair fall and mood swings and missing periods and aging bones and aging skin and falling hair and high sugar levels and high blood pressure, and the list can go on and on and on. Every bite is information. And we don't need to be nutritionists to decipher whether this is a good bite or this is a bad information. Even little children and toddlers today know the difference between good eating habits and bad. So, think of food as information, and every time you have the opportunity to put something into your body, remember, food is the only thing we voluntarily put inside our body, right? Even the air that we breathe is not in our control. We all know the quality of air in my city and yours, and it's not the greatest. But we haven't left the city and ran away. So even the air that we breathe is not in our control. Let at least the food we eat be in our control.
Very well said, Pooja. And something I think you mentioned, food, exercise, sleep. There was one thing you did not forget to do today because we were seeing your Instagram stories, and that was exercise. So you had posted saying that no gym clothes, no workout equipment, no time, doesn't matter, right? And I mean, it's a business trip for you, and like we're also kind of, you get a little stressed before an event, and I've skipped meals, water, breathing also sometimes before events. And you've done so many of these, right? How do you drill it into yourself that, you know what, I will exercise no matter what, I will make the time? Because I think, like you said, that's also as much a part of healthy eating as everything else.
See, the thing here is, I get asked this all the time, that do you have to eat healthy? Holiday mein aaye yaar, kuch to kha le. You chup karke baith, aaj gym mat ja. Do you have to do this? My answer here is, I don't have to do it. I just want to do it. It's as simple as that. It makes me feel in control of my weight. Do I have to exercise? Just what I did today in the afternoon was just spontaneous. I was like, what am I doing? But I didn't have anything else, so I was like, okay. I have a space, I have 2 feet, and I can move there. So I'm going to figure out how I'm moving there. Why? Because I was feeling blah. I was just whiling my time on Instagram, scrolling, doing nothing much while I was waiting for my turn to come here and speak with you guys. So I was like, I was just reading, I was just scrolling, and scrolling can be addictive and nasty and waste of time. So I was doing all of it, and then I was just like, I wanted to feel better. So I was like, I'm just going to do it. So remember guys, there could be 2 ways of feeling better. If I was feeling blah, I could have said, oh, let me have a coffee and a cake to make me feel better. I decided to do not what my tongue wanted, but what my body would thank me for. So that's what we have to do, guys. We have to learn to relate looking good to feeling good. Because after that little burst of 15 minutes of exercise, I did it only for 15 minutes. 15 minutes of exercise, I was back in my mode. I was back in not a blah mode. I decided that I was going to make a content for a video. So I wrote down what I'm going to talk. I made Mitali record it for me because I just got into the groove of making the day more productive. Versus when I was lying in bed, I'm trying to just pass my time. So from where do you get this? From practice. It's not something that's going to come to you just because you heard Pooja say it. But you'll do it one day, you'll feel a little good. Of course your body will hurt a lot and you won't feel so good. But you'll feel a little good. You'll feel like, I did one tick. You know, remember when we tick things that we want to do, we release the hormones that make us feel good. So you tick a thing and you say, I worked out today. Even though I worked out for 10 minutes. But I did work out today. And then the next day you feel a little better. And then the next day you feel a little better. And then when you've done it for 4 days in a row, you feel like you are the king of the world. Because you are getting on a healthier track. And one thing leads to the other. Because I exercised right, I will eat right. If I eat right, I will sleep right. If I slept right, I'll make sure I'll hydrate right. So it's just the dominoes that are piling on to eventually make you feel in control of yourself. That's about it. We all feel we have no time for ourselves and we must give the little time when we go home to our children, to our parents, to our spouses. Forget workout. I remember when my girls were little, to get 1 hour to work out was a luxury because I had to take away the time from their reading time or taking them to the park or doing things with them. Today, every evening, if I don't work out, I feel like, oh my god, what am I doing? What do I do now with myself? Because now my girls are big and they don't need me anymore. But had I not done it then, I would not do it now. So what we have to do is become just a better version of ourselves. Okay guys, don't try to be blah blah, or don't try to, I want to lose weight because I want to look like her. You're never going to be anyone else but yourself. But you have to be the best version of yourself. And who's going to do that for you? A nutritionist? A trainer? An influencer? No one. Just you. Just you who decided, that's it. I'm going to do a little bit for myself. Start with baby steps. I'm not saying you're going to master all the art of it. But baby steps. 10 minutes for yourself every day. 10 minutes of exercise. 10 minutes of to think. What am I going to eat in the whole course of the day? Or how am I going to plan my eating habits? When we travel, when we are busy, we spend time in how we are looking. Do we not? If I was coming to an event, I didn't decide to come in my pajamas, right? I thought what I'm going to wear, what accessory with that, what shoe with that. Sab soch ke aayi. So we think how we are looking from the outside. In the same way, you have to think how you are nurtured from the inside. छोटे डब्बे में बादाम ले जाऊंगी, ब्रेकफास्ट से एक छोटा डोसा पैक करवा के ले जाऊंगी, तो फ्रूट उठा के खा लूंगी. If you just put a little bit of thought and plan. The thing here is that we don't plan to fail. We fail because we just fail to plan. If we plan a little bit for ourselves, ये 24 hours में आप अपने लिए वो 1 घंटा ढूंढ ही लोगे. And one leads to the other. And trust me, when you put the car in the first gear, कहाँ से second, third, fourth पे आप भाग जाओगे, आपको नहीं पता चलेगा. That's motivation. Just a better version of yourself every day. And trust me, I have bad days as well, where I end up doing nothing. Okay, and then most around me will be like, Mama, you didn't work out today because I'm so grumpy and I'm so. They're like, Mama, you can go for a walk. Take Olive for our dog for a walk. You should just go for a walk because you automatically are going to be a little blunt. But you do have those days, and you allow yourself that as well. We don't have to have every day to be perfect. We are human. We can have a few high and low days.
So I think that leads us to a little bit on the topic, right? Focus, foods would improve focus and productivity. And I feel like let's subvert the topic a little bit here. What if before you came here, you were just thinking, and like you said, you built this over many years. But rather, you said, I'm going to biohack my focus and productivity today, and exercise is one of my favorite ways of doing that. Because your profile, right, you mentioned that word, biohack your health. And I find biohacking a very interesting term when we're talking about encouraging people to live healthier, to be healthier. It gives this idea that you're doing something innovative, like a ninja, you're figuring out this secret hack for yourself. Now the problem is a lot of times we have movies like Limitless, they give the idea that you have this, this pill, it makes you smarter, it makes you focus and all these things. Biohacking is not just limited to food though. Can you tell us what is your understanding, what do you feel biohacking is, and how do you apply it in everything that you post about? Because your reels are not just about food and nutrition, but there's also about habits and mindfulness and a lot of out-of-the-box things that you've talked about. So can you tell us a little bit about the biohacking mentality here?
Thank you. So, what is biohacking? Okay. Biohacking is just, if you're going to boil it down, what are human bodies? Okay? Human bodies are magnificent biological beings. Right? Everything in our body is biology. And biology and biochemistry and all our enzymes and all our hormones and all our muscles, it's just biology. What is biohacking in I'm not giving you any expert opinion. For me, what is biohacking is how to use biosciences to feel better. It's not about how to look better, it's how to feel better. So, I know now it's the key word or the in word or biohacking, and everyone feels, oh, I can biohack aging, I can biohack diseases, I can biohack vitality and longevity. But biohacking is just a simple tool to feel better. Okay? How do I use nature and what God has given us, and what God has given us to make us feel better? So whether it is using the sound of waves, or walking, or connecting with Mother Earth, or just humming to get more nitric oxide, these are all biohacking, so-called biohacking. Something that is nothing really novel, but in our fast-paced lives, we have forgotten these simple things. We have forgotten that just humming can make us feel good. Just humming can reduce stress. It can reduce the cortisol, because humming activates more nitric oxide, which calms us down. So just gungunao, apne gaane gao, just go back for a walk, just remove these goddamn shoes and heels and walk barefoot. Just connect with the earth, and if you have access to a beach, which for me is the ultimate place for a holiday or for a getaway, because that's how I feel most at peace. I feel life is literally like, when we studied neutrons and electrons, they showed us that electrons are on the outer layer, they just keep going bizz between. I feel like our lives are just like that. Whole days, literally, this one call, that one call, isko OTP do, isko ye pick up karo, isko ye drop karo, ye nahi karo, sabzi wale se sabzi mangao. Every day we are multitasking, doing 50,000 things, managing the day, managing ourselves, managing how we look, how we eat. It's literally like electrons just like buzzing in their magnetic compass of this. Okay, that's us. And now you have to find a way to find your calm. For someone it can be meditation, for someone it can be a walk, for someone it can be exercise, for someone it could be just listening to a few songs that calm you down. But we have to learn how to calm down. Because if we keep buzzing like electrons, we're just going to burn out. And that is not something that we want. So use whatever tool of biohacking that you may connect with. And really, I think biohacking is simply bringing it down to very basic things. People are taking shrooms and mushrooms and other ways of biohacking vitality. But of course, that's going back to nature. So go back to whatever part of nature you can reach. Okay? And hack what's not working for you. See, I would think what needs to be fixed is, the way you want to look at it is, what is not right? What am I not doing right? Okay? Where's the start point is to find out where's this trouble point, right? अगर गाड़ी नहीं चलती है, तो how do we decipher mechanic को क्या बोलूं? Okay, क्या है? गाड़ी start ही नहीं हो रही है, झटके मार रही है, हवा में टायर नहीं है. What is the problem? So when we think of ourselves, when we are asking what should we use as tools to biohack, we have to say, what do I want more? Do I want more rest? Do I want to sleep better? Am I not eating? Am I getting too tired? Or I want to fix my hair? Or I want to fix my skin? Or I want to fix... What do I want to fix? And then go backward and say, how is it that the so-called biohacking world is giving us these hacks? And then try to inculcate what you find easy to do. It has to be something you find easy. And it's something you enjoy. You can't do things that you dread, hate, grumble, grudge. Even if that's exercise. That's why I say find an exercise form that you enjoy. You must want to do it. Gun pakad ke, if the trainer has to make you do it, it's not a biohack, it's not anything. Something you enjoy doing that you look forward in the day. Having like one cup of coffee in bliss. That could be also a biohack. Anything can be a biohack that you enjoy doing. The key here is consistency. You can't do it once a year and say, oh, I hacked my health. Karna hai to roz karna hai, because these are simple things. Okay? Simple things, or like nutrition. It's not a one-time magic. It's not a pill for an ill approach. You have a problem, you took the pill, and the ill is gone. No. Nutrition or hacking or exercise or sleep or hydration is something that we have to do with consistency. Only then we are going to see results. You can't do it 3 times a week or 4 times a week. You can start with 3 times a week, 4 times a week, but then you must want to do it to get the results.
I think that's leading perfectly to my next question here. Because a few of the previous talks have talked about how children in India have been getting unhealthier. We're seeing HbA1c levels rising. And I think, at the same time, we probably have greater awareness of health issues than ever before, but we have greater access to unhealthy things than ever before. So, consistency, right? Like, you can start in your 20s or in your 30s, but what if you started when you were 5 or 6? So, foods for improved focus and productivity. Like, I'm sure every parent in India would love if there was some food you could give your child and then IIT rank one the next day. But I'm just thinking about that. Most of us pick up a coffee habit towards our teens or college life. Kids usually don't have coffee, they'll have Horlicks or Boost or something. Why would you start with children in terms of foods that can improve your relationship with yourself, your well-being, but also your focus and productivity, so that you don't end up with a crippling coffee habit later on?
Or you don't need a nutritionist when you grow older. Okay, that's exactly how I wanted. So I think my love or evolution with nutrition grew as my life as a parent grew. Okay, so of course I did my bit of teaching clients one-on-one, but then when I had children and I started teaching them nutrition, my children became walking, talking little Pooja Makhijas, right? Because I would teach my children, if you don't want chashma like mama, then you must eat this. And if you want rosy cheeks like Cinderella, you must eat that. And if you don't want, you want hair like Rapunzel, you must eat this. And my kids would go to school, and there was once a mum who called me up because my choti, she was 4 years old then, went and told her friend, "Full day you're blowing nosy, your nosy is always running, you must eat a green chili every day if you want your nosy to stop running." And the mum calls me up and says, "Mrs. Makhija, your daughter has told my 4-year-old to eat a green chili and she insists she eats a green chili, otherwise Amira won't talk to her. So what is it that I'm supposed to do?" So what I'm trying to say here is, because she has heard me speak that, oh, mama eats a green chili because mama doesn't want a cold, she went and told her 4-year-old. So that's how relatable nutrition is, and that's how pilferable nutrition can become into your lives if taught right. So when I saw my girls learning the funda and my girls understanding that if they want to grow tall, they have to eat their proteins, and if they want to have better memory, then they must eat their fatty fish or their nuts. So I was like, why is it that only my children should benefit from nutrition because I'm a nutritionist? Every parent should be able to give this much pockets of nutrition to their children so that their children don't need nutritionists as they grow old. Which is why I wrote Eat Delete Junior, which was a parental guide from birth till age 50. बच्चों को कैसे खिलाओ, कैसे सिखाओ, so that your children are like little nutritionists who know how to use the tool of nutrition to empower this human body. And I really beg, plead, I've tried so many requests to so many education ministers that why is nutrition not made a compulsory subject in every primary school? They teach us trigonometry and I don't know what all algebra equations जो पता नहीं हमने जिंदगी में कब उसको यूज भी किया होगा या नहीं, या कोई इक्वेशन आपको अभी भी याद है या नहीं. बट अगर आपने मुझे सिखाया होता कि लिवर किससे बना हुआ है और अल्कोहल पीने से मेरा लिवर कैसे खराब होगा या फैटी लिवर को क्या कहते हैं, and if I eat samosas what will happen to my skin, dude, we would all be a generation productive and so much healthier, not being crippled by disease, obesity, blood pressure, diabetes, not being the diabetes capital of the world, because we have nutrition which is inside our pocket. We know it because we are born with it. But nobody seems to be thinking that way. I think Big Pharma wants things differently. We don't want to be healthy. We have to be sick, sadly. So yes, you can increase focus and productivity, not just for children, but even for adults, okay? You have to give the body what the body wants. It's as simple as that. The body will give you what you want. Do I have to make sure that I have to have that much EPA and DHA to have better memory cells and brain cells? I just need to make sure I'm giving the body what the body wants. My gut is my pharmaceutical industry. It knows how to make everything. हर vitamin बनाना आता है, but raw material होना चाहिए. We have to know how to eat for this human body, how to eat for physiology. We are only taught how to eat for taste. As culturally as Sindhis हम खाना ऐसे खाते हैं, Gujaratis खाना ऐसे बनाते हैं. We know our cultural recipes. We don't know nutritional recipes because no one's talking about it, no one's telling us about it. So if you're talking about improving immunity or productivity, we can boil down to very simple things. Focus on your proteins, focus on your good fats, focus on your hydration. You don't sleep enough, nothing is going to work. Okay, if you're going to say, oh, I'm going to be this buzzing entrepreneur who's also going to study and be a great mom and an author, and then she's also going to give talks everywhere, and then she wants to be an influencer, and so I'll cut sleep to do that. Then nothing you do is going to work for you. So you have to have a certain vital tools of this body. Give the body what it wants. It gives you what you want. It's really, you know, my kids make fun of me. They're like, Mama, for every problem, you have one answer. Sleep on time, drink water, eat your eggs. If they come to me saying, I got a pimple, I'll tell them the same thing. Mama, I got period cramps. I say, drink water. Did you eat eggs today? Jaldi time pass away. Mama, do you have any other answers? That all problems have the same solution? I said, because really, nutrition can be that simple. You have sugar cravings? Watch your water, drink your protein, sleep better. Your glycemic index is different. Your glucose response is different according to sleep, hydration, and protein. Right? You have getting migraines, muscles and migraines, muscular cramps, and dry skin and wrinkles. Watch your water, watch your protein, sleep on time. It's so simple. You're like, Mama, who's ever going to come to you if you're going to give these same silly answers? But do we have to really complicate things? Isn't it time that we now simplify things? There's so many complicated solutions on the internet. Like, उल्टा लटक के अपना प्रोटीन खाओगे तो आप ज़्यादा स्ट्रॉन्ग हो जाओगे. कुछ अलग बताओगे तो ओ माय गॉड आपके फॉलोअर्स बढ़ेंगे. But आप तो same चीज़ बता रहे हो. Mama, do things differently. My girls have now become very big, so they think they have to guide Mama. So they're like, Mama, change your tactics. Yes, this nutrition plan you're giving is so basic. Change the way you're doing things. Do things of the 21st century, Mama. You're still in the 20th century. But we don't have to complicate things. We really have to simplify it. And that's how simple food and nutrition can be. Just watch your water, sleep well, and watch your proteins. Trust me, with just these three things, literally 90% of our problems can be taken care of. It's just as simple.
I think that really connects also with what we're learning about the gut microbiome, right? And the fact that even if you didn't know what the gut microbiome was, if you were eating healthy 20 years ago, you probably have a healthy gut. But still, even so on that note though, what are some foods that you feel are, and not just foods but also habits, like maybe things like not eating too much in lunch because you're going to get drowsy. What are some foods and habits you recommend for boosting your focus, your mood, your productivity, in addition to good sleep, good exercise, and all the other biohacks you've given us? And also, I'm also trying to think of like beverages also. I mean, the coffee culture that we sort of built up and that kids are also getting into. Do you have any recommendations that way for what you'd like to see from a kid to an adult's lunchbox, which would help their mood, their focus?
So why we feel sleepy after a meal is only because our sugars have gone that much higher and our body is focusing on taking care of it and the insulin response, and therefore lowering the sugar, transporting it to the cells, then putting it as glycogen in the liver, and then the extra is being stored as fat. So body को अपने काम दे दिया है, तो automatically सारे resources brain को नहीं मिल रहे हैं और आपको नहीं मिल रहे हैं. The simplest way to not be fatigued after a meal is to make sure that the portion size of the meal is smart. And you don't start your meal with carbs. Okay? What tends to happen is, what is our usual eating style? Take the roti or the chawal, dip it in sabzi and dal. Okay, but if you start the meal with carbs are the one that will spike your sugar levels, right? Proteins and fats and fiber is going to slow you down. So a smarter hack is start the meal with not the carbs. So do a little bit of raw fiber, a little bit of cooked veggies, a little bit of your dal, and then do your carbs with your remaining sabzi and dal. That way, you have choked the wash basin with a little bit of fiber so that it's not instantly spiking your sugar levels. No instant blood sugar spikes. will lead to no instant blood sugar crashes and therefore lethargy and slackness. So we are eating the same thing, just the changing the order in which you're eating it can affect your sugar levels and therefore your glucose spikes, your gastric emptying, and your insulin response. So that's a simple way to just hack the eating style of your plate. Khana nahi badalna hai, sirf khane ka style badalna hai. That's how to hack lethargy. But let's talk about caffeine. Most of us think caffeine is free energy, right? I'm feeling tired, let's have a cup of coffee and bah, I have a burst of energy. But caffeine is not free energy. Caffeine is borrowed energy. I'm feeling sluggish at 2 p.m. A cup of coffee is going to give me all the kick I want. But what I actually did was just borrowed energy from 4 p.m. and took it to 2 p.m. As we reach 4 p.m., I'm tired and sluggish again, and then another cup of Starbucks is going to do the kick. Wrong. Use food and nutrition. Adequate hydration, adequate protein, adequate eating. See, eating is going to give you the energy in terms of glucose to continue the car of the battery. आप टाइम टू टाइम खाओगे तो आपका एनर्जी क्रैश ही नहीं होगा, तो आपको प्रोटीन आपका कैफीन की जरूरत ही नहीं पड़ेगी. So if you eat small frequent meals, you eat intelligently, you hydrate well, and of course you have slept well the previous night. Finito, you're not going to have the energy dips. Your food is going to be a source of energy. And if you actually need a burst of energy, get up from the seated chair and do 10 squats. Or do 1 minute of spot jogging. Or walk 1 minute up and down your chota sa cabin. And then see how your thakan is gone and your energy is back. There are simple ways to get the energy. But who wants to sit and do those 20 squats? I'd rather sit and say, ek coffee do. That's an easier route, and that's a more comfortable route, right? We all like that 1 cup of garam coffee, फिर उसमें glucose biscuit dip करके खाएंगे, यार नहीं हमारी energy. But that's not a smart way to do it. That's an easy way to do it. So I would say restrict caffeine to no more than 3 cups of chai in a day and no more than 2 cups of tea in a day, coffee in a day. Too much caffeine is only going to cause the negative effects of caffeine. In moderation, caffeine is good for you. But when abused, caffeine is going to lead to brittle bones, weaker digestion, higher acidity, higher sugar cravings, all of it. So please don't use caffeine as a crutch. Use it intelligently. It has a very long half-life. So please finish caffeine by 3, 4, 5 p.m. I would say at the max, so that you have restful sleep in the night. Falling asleep is not the problem. I have friends who say I can drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep. Coffee doesn't bother your falling asleep. It affects your sleeping right, sleeping deep, sleeping well. Okay? So please don't have coffee too late in the evenings because you're not going to rest well. And if you're not rested well, one of the most important biohack is keep it. You know, there was a study done where they took a group of people, let them sleep for 7 hours, gave them a breakfast meal at whatever breakfast time. Okay, their sugar curve was measured. Same subjects were given the same breakfast with 6 hours of sleep. The sugar curve was double. Just 1 hour of less sleep, and their glucose response was double. Because that's how your body responds when it's tired. 1 घंटा did that problem. लोग सेम थे, खाना सेम था, समय सेम था. Just 1 घंटा less sleep. Sleep is a vital most of us are ignoring, and even children are. My daughters will have constant fights with me. Mama, you want me to sleep now? What difference if I sleep at 10 o'clock and wake up at 7 o'clock, or I sleep at 2 o'clock and wake up at 12 o'clock? It's my holidays, Mom. Chill. But sadly, it's not chill. There has to be sleep routine and sleep hygiene, which is very important for us to teach our children. And as nasty as my girls think I am, I don't mind. They will one day thank me for it, but I am nasty when it comes to sleep timings. I snatch phones away, I turn off lights, and there's curfew. You need to get into bed. If you want to read, you're more than welcome. Go up in bed and read, but you're not going to get your phones. So please, parents, be very, very strict. Even though you have teenagers, and mine is 20 almost, but and can give me the nastiest glares. She's like, Mama, you think in uni I do this? I said, okay, when you're in uni, you do what you want, but when you're with me, you do things my way. But that's what's going to give them the longevity that they need, because these kids have the worst of it all. Worst air, worst food, worst water, and worst friend, therefore.
I really like the idea that when you have bad habits, you're borrowing from your future self. I personally call them future Varun problems, tomorrow problems. Perhaps too much. I think let's give the audience a chance to ask some questions. We've gotten a lot of questions in today's summit. So please raise your hands if you